Okay. Come to sit in a comfortable seat somewhere where your hips might be higher than your knees, so you can have a nice tall spine. If you're not comfortable cross-legged, you can put your legs out wherever you feel best. We're going to do a little bit of breath work to start, so take a moment to just close the eyes. And you can find the head stacking over the heart, over the hips. And then you might draw back so your elbows are underneath your shoulders, and then you can choose. Palms can be face down, face up, whatever feels good for you. We're going to start our practice with some counted breath work, and then we're going to move through a full body yin class. So take a moment just to land. Let your jaw soften, maybe take a deep breath in through the nose and fill to your belly, then your ribs, then your chest, and just allow the breath to release through the nose. And do that again, inhaling through the nose. And out through the nose. One more round, just clearing space. Inhale to fill. Exhale it out. You can take a few more rounds at your own pace here. We're going to look at a 4, 7, 8 breath. So we'll inhale to the count of 4. We'll retain or hold the breath for a count of 7. And we'll exhale for a count of 8. So I'll take you through a few rounds. I'll give you the option to go through a few yourself. So again, just clear your space here. Take an inhale to fill. And then exhale out. And we'll begin. Inhale for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale 8, 7, 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, exhale 8, 7. Next round, you're going to take on your own. So finish off this 8 count exhalation, and then when you're ready, inhale to 4. Go through a few rounds by yourself. At the bottom of your next 8 count exhalation, you can just set the breath free. Take a moment to just notice, observe the effects of the breath practice. I'm going to start to let the breath regulate. You can start to blink your eyes open. And then we're going to come off of our blocks or blanket or whatever we're sitting on here, and we're going to come right down onto our back. So you can set your props off to the side. And then we'll lay down onto our back. Then you might take a moment just to land on your back. You can take palms face up. Keep the knees bent, soles of the feet to the mat. Left leg is going to stay where it's at, and you'll take your right leg and cross it over for figure 4. And then you can choose to stay here with the left foot on the floor. You might slip a block or 2 underneath that left foot. Or if you're comfortable, you can hug the legs in, grabbing behind the left hamstring, or even in front of the left shin if you'd like. So take a moment to just find a variation of this posture that you feel comfortable in. And remember, we'll be staying for a few minutes here. So make sure it's something that feels supportive. If you need your props, use them. Find a little bit of length for the back of your neck. And then just start to let your face soften, let your jaw soften. And even though the hands are working here, can you relax the chest and the shoulders? And you might start to settle back into the breath. If you'd like to count your inhale, match your exhale. Or again, assign a word, a number to the inhale and to the exhale. Whatever holds you present here. We'll give lots of space tonight for just silence so that you can drop in. So make any last minute adjustments you need to there, and then let yourself be still. And start to deepen your breath. One more breath in here, let yourself fill up. Now you're going to hold the figure four in the legs, but release them if you're holding on. Let your left foot come back down to the mat. You just get your arms out of the way. They can come into that T position or that cactus position. And then kind of as a package here, you're going to allow your legs to drop off to the left side of the body. So you come into a little twist. You can choose any position for the arms, for the head. You can turn the head to one side if that makes you feel nice. And then allow your right shoulder to soften in toward the floor. And start to create a heaviness through the right side ribs and the right side waist. Allow your belly, the side of your waist, your low back to relax. See if you can even find a softening in the feet in whatever position they're in. And again, just allow yourself to drop in the stillness. Release any tension in the face and in the jaw. Just allow your breath to be free and easy. Last 2 rounds of breath here. Take an inhale. Keeping the legs in this position as you exhale, just come back to center so that left foot is on the floor. And then we're going to take the legs off to the right. So start to let them tip off to the right. And if it feels like it's too much, you can release your right ankle from your left thigh. So the right foot could come to the floor. You could keep it hooked onto the thigh or the knee. You might even choose to turn your head in the opposite direction. But again, we'll be here for a few moments, so find a variation of this that you can soften into. And let your eyes close, let the weight of your head rest back into where the mat is. Maybe noticing any sensation through the front of that left hip, outer thigh. And let the only movement in the body be here, the breath. And then bring the attention back into the breath. Let it deepen. In your next exhalation, start to draw the legs back through center. You can undo that right leg, and it might feel nice for a moment to extend both legs. You can stay still, maybe drop the hands by the hips, rock out side to side on the heels. If you prefer, you can hug the knees into the chest, or just take a moment to land in stillness in whatever position serves you. Take a couple rounds of breath and just check in. And then slowly start to bend your legs one at a time, soles of the feet to the mat. If you feel like you've come off center, you can recenter yourself to the mat, and then we'll take the left leg over the right knee for figure 4. And again, option 1 would be to stay here. You can place a few blocks underneath that right foot, or if you're comfortable with it, you can interlace the hands behind that right hamstring or in front of the right shin to find a bind with your arms. Maybe just noticing and honoring the different side to side. And again, just allowing the weight of the head to drop back. So the back side of the neck can start to relax. The upper back, the shoulders, the chest, and the abdomen. Again, finding a sense of ease within the work of the posture. again, start to deepen your breath. When you feel ready, start to lower that right foot to the floor, release your hands, keep the legs as they are. We're going to come into those twists, so you can place the hands wherever you feel comfortable. The legs as a package in this figure four are going to twist off to the right. Any variation that works for you that you can kind of settle into here. You can turn your head in any direction that might feel helpful. And then take a moment to let that left shoulder soften. There's a sense of freedom in the left side chest, the right side chest. Some space through those left side ribs and a softening for the left side waist. And noticing any sensation in the left hip. Seeing if you can drop into it. A few more rounds of breath. And take a deep breath in. And use the exhalation to come back to center, holding onto that figure four, right foot to return to the floor. And then you're going to start to gently take the legs off to the left. And again, find a variation on this twist that feels good. So that left foot might come down. You can keep it stacked to the leg. You can turn your head in any direction that feels good. Maybe take a nice big breath in, let yourself go. And then as you exhale, start to let yourself soften. Notice those areas of holding of tension. Making any adjustments to the physical body so you can find that ease, that sense of rest and stillness in the posture. Again, come back to the breath. Start to let it deepen. When you're ready, use your next exhalation Just gently start to draw the legs back up. You can release your left foot, release your right leg. You can drop your hands down by your hips. Just a brief shavasana to check. We're going to make our way up to sit. So bend your knees. You can roll off to whichever side you like and gently press yourself up. It might be nice if you take a blanket so that you have a blanket to just give the hips a bit of height here. So you can roll it up whichever way you like, or fold it up whichever way you like, but find a position where your hips can come to sit on the blanket. Just the front of the hips so you're nice and upright here. And then we're going to take Baddha Konasana, so we're going to take the soles of the feet together. We'll keep the hips a little bit further away from the pelvis than we would in a regular posture. You can take your hands onto your feet, you can take your hands onto the floor, but you're just going to start to round down and forward, and you just land wherever you need to, where you can kind of just start to rest in here. See if you can find a spot before the maximum range of flexibility so you can just soften in. And again, you can straighten out the arms and use your arms as little breaks. If you'd like, you can drop the chin in toward the chest. And let the tension shift back into the breath. See if you can send the exhales to those areas of tension or resistance, or just those areas that might be speaking to you. Allow the breath to create a sense of ease. And start to bring your attention back to your palms. Start to put a bit of pressure into the hands and slowly start to walk yourself up. If you'd like, you can release. You can put your hands behind you. You can lift the legs, windshield wiper them, whatever feels best. Take a moment to release. And then we're going to stay seated for the next one. We'll extend the left leg and we'll draw the right leg in. So you could, if you would like, take a block. If it feels helpful, you can support the hip or the knee or whatever it is. And then frame your hands over your left leg. And same thing, just kind of start to walk down. You can use your arms as brakes. You can let your chin come in toward your chest. If you want to use the block in some capacity for the forehead and it's available to you, You can start to fold forward that way. You can take the head to the leg, just finding a variation again that you can sink into for a few rounds of breath. Taking a moment to notice where you feel this. Maybe for a few rounds of breath, allowing the breath to soften those areas. If you can follow the breath in that kind of right side ribs, right side waist, into the right hip. Just notice the breath washing over the body as you breathe in and out. Last few rounds of breath on this side. And start to press into your palms, maybe straighten your arms. Start to walk yourself back and forth. And grab your right leg, draw it in, and we'll switch sides here. So right leg will gently come out. We'll bend up the left leg again. You can use your blocks, props, whatever you need. Start to take your hands forward over that right leg. You might stop with your arm breaks again, dropping the chin into the chest. If you're comfortable walking a bit further out, you can do that. And if it works, maybe a block can rest under the forehead in some capacity. So you can take a little bit of support for the neck if you'd like. And then take a nice deep breath in, let yourself fill up. And as you exhale, just start to settle in. Find that first layer of resistance in the body and let yourself soften in.
Last few rounds of breath. And then again, press into the palms, slowly start to lift your head, start to walk yourself.
You can release yourself from the blankets. We're going to take our blocks, maybe 2 down with us. You can decide what you'd like. We're going to come into a variation on supported bridge. So when you're ready there, slowly start to roll onto your back. And then again, depending on how you want to use the block, you might double up on blocks. You might have one block kind of long and wide. But either way, we're going to take the blocks underneath the backside of the pelvis. So we're going to free the bum to be off the block as well as the low back. And then you can just decide 1 or 2, whatever orientation works for you. A little bit of extension through the hips there. You might kind of gently walk your shoulders underneath. You can go palms face up. We will eventually extend a leg and then the other. So no, you will have the option to move on the block, so if you need to make any adjustments, you can. Just take a moment to land on your backside. Let your shoulders rest into the mat, the head rest into the mat. If you're comfortable with it, let the eyes close, let the jaw soften. And then, of course, you're welcome to stay here. Or if you'd like to try extending that right leg, you might start to walk that right leg toward being straight. It may or may not go straight. You can allow the leg to kind of drop open if that's what it's naturally trying to do. And you're welcome to stay here, or if you'd like, you could even draw that left knee in toward the chest, just catch behind the left hamstring so you have a little bit of an opposing action happening here. And same thing, just let yourself drop in, let the low back soften, let the belly soften. Just return to your breath. And if you happen to have that left leg, you can slowly start to release the left foot from the floor. Release the hands and then just gently start to walk that right leg in. Take a moment, just pause in your supported bridge. We'll head into the second side. So as you feel ready, just kind of gently starting to extend that left leg. You might have a soft bend in it. You might be able to straighten it, and you're more than welcome to just stay here for a couple rounds of breath just to settle in on this side. And if you'd like, same thing, you can start to draw the right knee in toward the chest. Maybe catching behind the right hamstrings, or if you have a strap, you could use your strap. And see if you can let the muscles across your chest release, so the shoulders soften. And again, sending that heaviness to the belly and to the low back. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, release the hands from the back side of the right leg, return the right leg to the floor. You can start to walk that left leg in. Take a moment, pause with the palms face up, down by the hip. A few rounds of bridge in their supported position here. And when you feel ready, press into the feet, lift your hips enough that you can just slide through your block or block slides. You can set the hips back to the ground and either stay still or maybe windshield wiper the legs gently to find a release for the lower back. And we're going to come into one of my faves. So start to walk your legs along. And then arms can reach up overhead. And if the arms don't comfortably reach up overhead, you can stick your blocks underneath the shoulders or your blanket, or you can kind of adjust as we go here. So our hips and our pelvis are going to stay where it's at. And I want you to take your right leg and kind of drag it toward the right side of your mat, or maybe even off the right side of your mat. Again, hips are going to stay steady here, and then let your left leg follow. So left leg kind of follows that right leg, so you have a gentle stretch over the left side hip. My preference here is actually to cross my left leg over my right, so my left leg can kind of just hang on with no effort. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my upper body. I'm going to kind of press down into my shoulders, into my head, to lift the upper body and bring it over toward the right. Now this is where you may take your right hand to your left wrist, or your forearm or your elbow, or you might have the arms out in a cactus, but we want to draw a little bit of tension now through that left side rib cage and shoulder. We're just allowing the hips to stay steady so you can put a gentle arc through that whole left side line. I like to drop my right side ear toward the floor, and then you can just let your eyes close. If you have your eye pillow, you're welcome to put it on if you'd like. And then let your attention just drift down to your feet and start to let them soften. Let the heels heavy. Start to relax the calves, the shins. Let the weight of the thigh bones drop toward the floor so the thighs can soften. Allow your hips to drop into the floor, softening the belly and the low back.
muscles across the chest to relax, the shoulders to drop back, the neck and the jaw soften. Then find your arms in a position where the fingers, even if you're holding, can soften and release, maybe curl in. Again, just let yourself drop into the stillness. And start to let your breath deepen. Holding onto the hands or the arms, let them release. Just slowly in your own time there, move your shoulders back towards center. You can drop the hands down by the hips and then just start to undo the legs so you come into a brief Shavasana and just take a moment to check in to let that whole left side settle. And then we'll start to move the left leg over to the left side of the mat. And again, you can choose. You might draw the right leg so it's just sitting beside it. You may take that right ankle and cross it over the left. And then keeping the hips in the center of the mat there, you can reach your arms up overhead. Maybe start to move the shoulders off to the left. Put blocks, blankets underneath the arms if that feels helpful. You can maybe left wrist catches or left hand catches that right wrist. And let your left ear drop. Let your arms relax. Again, just find a heaviness for the feet. Relax the toes, the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, and the ankles. The shin bones, the thigh bones drop toward the floor. And then see if you can soften your glutes, let your bum relax. Let there be a heaviness to the rib cage. As you breathe some squeeze into those right side ribs. The weight of the arms drop, softening your face, your eyes, your jaw. Just allowing the stillness of this posture to create change. A few more rounds of breath. And then start to use your next exhale to unwind in your own time. Make your way back into the center of your mat. And drop the arms, drop the legs, move as slowly as you need there. Again, just a brief moment in Shavasana to check in. And when you're ready, just bend your knees up. Roll off to one side, press to sit for a moment, and we're going to set our blanket for our last posture here. So as long as the blanket comes across the width of your mat, you'll be fine. And you're going to kind of put the freda into the top so you have like a little tail for your head or a resting place for your head. And then you can just make a nice little roll at the bottom of the blanket here. So these blankets are pretty thick, so if you go really big with this roll, it's going to be a really deep back bend. So I just want you to find something that might be comfortable and know that you can come off the blanket if this doesn't work.
So I want my shoulder blades to be on this side of the roll as well as the back of my head. And then I'm going to aim for this roll to be kind of beneath my shoulder blades or kind of across that bra strap area, so that when I come down, the shoulders are on the top side. I've got a little space for my head to rest here. And then you can take your arms out into a T position, a cactus position, and you can take on any variation in the legs that you'd like. If you come down and you find that this is uncomfortable or you need to change the positioning of the roll, you can kind of simply get up, unroll your roll a little bit, and then readjust for that. If you'd like the blocks underneath the knees or the thighs, if you want to take Supta Baddha or Baddha Konasana and the legs with the feet together, I can take my blocks and support the outsides of the legs. And then taking the blocks under the knees is going to give me a little bit less support. The closer the blocks are toward my hips, the more support for my legs. You can find a variation in between, or if you're happy working without the blocks, that works as well. And then just kind of take a moment to make sure you feel comfortable, you feel supported. And palms face up in some capacity again, whether that's T or cactus, or maybe it's comfortable for you to grab your elbows overhead. That's also welcome. So just finding a variation that feels supportive for you now. Find a little bit of length for the back of your neck. Again, if you have an eye pillow and you'd like to use it, you can put that over the eye. And then take a nice deep breath in, let yourself fill up, almost like you're pressing away from the roll. And as you exhale, let the backside of your heart sink into that roll, at your chest, your shoulders, your arms, everything softens. Just allowing the attention to rest into that ebb and flow of breath, nice and easy, in and out through the nose. Let yourself dropping.
Start to let your breath deepen. And in your own time, start to draw your hands down to your legs if you're in that bound angle, and draw the soles of the feet to the mat, send the legs up. We're going to come off of this roll, so let yourself roll off to one side, press up for a moment, and then you can decrease this roll, or the width of the roll, bring it up closer to the head, so it'll kind of just fill the space between the top of your head there, or the top of your shoulders and the back of your head. So I'm going to let my neck come down. I'm going to make a roll big enough that I feel like it supports my neck there, and I'm going to bring myself into Shavasana. You can support the knees with anything, so you can put your blocks underneath your knees. If you'd rather not have the roll beneath the neck, you can remove that. And see if you can just drop right back in. Start to let the weight of your heels drop into your mat. Allowing the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, the toes to soften. The ankles, the shins, the knees, the thighs relax. Let there be a heaviness into the pelvis, the abdomen, the low back, upper back. And then a softening across the chest. Let the shoulders draw back. Softening your palms, your wrists, your forearms, elbows, and upper arms. And then allowing the weight of the head to drop back toward the mat. Softening the jaw, the cheeks, all those tiny little muscles around your eyes, your temple, forehead, and your scalp. Let yourself take rest. And just slowly start to bring your attention back to your breath and let it deepen.
When you feel ready, keeping the body still, the jaw soft. Take the breath in through the nose and fill to your belly, then your ribs, and then your chest. And part your lips and let the breath go. Seal the lips back in through the nose, filling the front body. And out through the mouth. One last time, nice deep breath in, fill all the way up. And sigh this one out. Start to wiggle your toes, your fingers. Circle your ankles, circle your wrists. If you'd like, take a full body stretch, reach up and back. And just slowly start to peel yourself over onto the right side and pause for a moment. And just take a moment to check in. Noticing the effects of your practice. And when you feel ready, start to draw yourself up to a seat. And then we'll take a breath together here. We'll close up our practice. Let your hands drop by your hips, palms toward the sky. Take an inhale to sweep up, reach up. Pressing the palms together, take your thumbs to your sternum, Anjali Mudra by your chin. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself for coming to your mat. Extend gratitude to the practice, and I thank you for your presence. If you'd like, you can take thumbs to brows. Namaste. Thank you.